attitude, effort. Control what you control. See depth.
Welcome to Keep It 100, Coach Jones Show on this Wednesday afternoon. What's up, Coach?
What's going on? You doing all right, T?
Not too bad, man. You know, another big win for the Dell City Eagles.
Yes,
we
sir.
got two super sophomore and junior guests today. We got Ricklan Holmes, the outstanding linebacker, running back.
Yes, sir.
And we got Mr. Shannon Thorton.
Yes, Shane Thorton. Yes,
Shane
sir.
Thorton. I'm sorry. Hey, you know, I mean, I'm bad with names, but I get it right by the time the end of the show. Shane Thornton's offensive lineman, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Just a junior. His sister's an outstanding basketball player here. So if you know the name, that's why you know the name, not because of him. Just joking. He's making his own name. But Coach, what's going on today?
Man, we're feeling good. You know, we come out, like you said, we came off a big victory against McAlester, a big district win against an opponent that plays in two state championships the past 2 years. They're a physical team. They have a great coach and a great coaching staff. They got a great coacher. And we had some added motivation to the game with it being homecoming. You know, we wanted to put that out there that we don't ever want to be anybody's homecoming. So that was good for us to get that out there as well. But anytime you go on the road and you get a district win, it's a blessing regardless on what the final score was. You know, we didn't play as well as we wanted in the second half, but that's football. It's a four-quarter game, and we won that four-quarter game. So I'm thankful to be 2-0 in district, 5-0 in the season, and we're ready to get after Sapopa.
You know, Coach, the funny thing is, you know, we've done this show for 4 or 5 weeks now, and each week we do the show. You know, last week we had 2 seniors on, but most of the shows that we've done, 4 weeks of it, has been sophomores and juniors.
Yeah.
So that just tells you, hey, Dell City's not going nowhere. You know, I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again, you know. Didn't get a chance to watch your middle school team last night. You got some guys coming up, the QB, young
got a
man.
Big win versus Carl Albert last night, 20-0. So
20-0.
Yes,
that's big time, you know, and that's a team that plays for a state championship. But I think you really got the train rolling over here, Coach. Like I said, with these 2 young men, one being a junior and one being a sophomore, Ricklan Holmes, one of the guys that everybody knows, man. As a freshman, he got an offer to Arkansas State, and got many more to come. Thornton is going to make his name on that offensive line, you know, and people started to recognize Dell City line because, one, you can see the numbers that Rivers is putting up.
Yeah.
They're protecting them. The running backs are doing the things they need to do each week in and out. And the funny thing is, you know, one of your running backs go down, and then, you know, two young men step up, you know.
Yes, sir.
You know, we'll get into the stats, but, you know, Ricklan was one of them, and Shane Green went from number, 28 to number 7. He just a
He's a junior right now.
He's a junior, so it just tells you what you got coming. But, guys, we're going to let y'all talk a little bit and, you know, tell us a little bit about yourself. We're going to start with you, Mr. O-Line. Mr. Thornton, what's it like playing for Dell City, and, you know, what's it been like this year compared to last year?
It's been hard and competitive. We had a rough start at the start of the season, and now I'm starting, so it feels good.
You know, you talk about now you're starting, but, you know, one thing about Coach Jones, and everybody knows, Coach Jones is a father figure. He's going to push you to the limit, and sometimes kids are not ready for that when they go off to college because, you know, one thing I've noticed about kids going to college, you see these kids jump in the transfer portal because, one, you know, Alabama's a little bit different, but you see some of these kids jump in the transfer portal because they get to a school and they got a couple guys in front of them. Sometimes you got to wait your turn, and then when your turn comes, then you got to show out and play out, you know, and some things that, I'm good, because everybody that goes to college is a 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, 2-star. But even sometimes it's 2 stars are better than some of the 5 stars. Yeah. If you go look in the NFL and you go look at the measure, most of the guys in the NFL are 2-star NFL players. The 5 stars don't make it because, one, they don't want to work hard. So don't ever.
They're also a lot of people in the NFL is not Division I players.
Yes, sir.
So they're Division II players, NIA players, JUCO players. Everybody thinks D1 is how you get to the NFL. You can get a college education, and you can still have a chance to go to the NFL.
That's
and
it.
all those other schools.
And you know, it's funny you say that because I talked to 2 young ladies yesterday at the 80th kickoff and the bond deal that Mississippi held yesterday. Really quick, shout out to Andy Carter for putting that together, man. And I'll tell you one thing I liked about that, guys. You had all 3 schools together.
That's awesome.
You had Carl Albert, Dell City, and Midwest City. And not one person got into an argument. Yeah. Not one person got into a fight. You know, and it was good to see that because, you know, you had a tragedy a couple of weeks ago and you guys are part of that tragedy and that you're at a football game and that's the time you enjoy. And they had all different kind of games. But Thornton, man, you know, like you said, you're starting now, but you know what? Now you got that starting position. Keep that starting position. You know what I'm saying? But Ricklan, man, you know, you're one of the guys that get talked about a lot, man. One, being a sophomore, getting off as a true freshman. You're one of the guys that, you know, came through here. You might not know him. But Benny Butler was a guy that came through here, was really, really popular, ended up going to play ball at OU. Josh Scobie, Paul Durham, you know, some of the guys that came through here that's built the walls for Dell City. you're that guy that everybody talks about. By the time you leave here, man, I know you got one offer, and I said it last week on the show. Even though you got one offer, you're gonna have, by the time you leave here, you're gonna have 20 offers. One, you're built like a man child. They don't build you like that as a sophomore, man. I mean, I don't even know how old you are, 14, 15, 16, whatever you are, but I mean, you got college guys ain't built like that. So you're gonna be able to do a lot of big things here. Biggest thing is keeping those grades, listen to what Coach Jones and any other coaches say, and stay humble because, like I said, you're gonna have a lot of things thrown at your way, and you're gonna have to make a decision where you want to go to college. So, when did you start playing football?
I started playing football from the age of 5. That's when I started in Little League with actually one of my coaches that's here now, Coach Tank.
Okay. So, have you always been a linebacker? What positions have you played?
I've played DN, linebacker, running back, nose guard, kicker.
You can't kick. I will. I told Coach Jones, you can. I know last year you guys had Stanley. But, man, you're going to give Stanley a run for his money, I've told Coach Joe, I said, man, let him kick a field goal because every kick that I've seen you do has been in the end zone, man. And, I mean, I know sometimes Coach has you do the onside kick, but, man, I got to give it to you. I'm going to keep it 100, man. For being a brother, man, you got a leg. I ain't going to lie. I don't know who you get that from, but, man, I got to tell you, man, you see this big old guy out there kicking the ball. I said, the first time I saw you, this no lie, I said, that dude ain't going to kick the ball. That dude is too damn, excuse my friend, he too big. Yeah. Boom, puts it in the end zone. So, man, that's a blessing to have because you might get a scholarship just off your kicking.
And
but
as a punter, coach,
yeah,
making a tackle and somebody break loose, you got Ricklan, Holmes tackling him on kickoff end punts. That's huge. You got to get you a chance to line back up.
Yes, sir. The thing about it, Coach Jones, with these two young men here, though, being a sophomore and junior, it just, I know people that watch the show because, we get a lot of views for the Coach Jones show, but it's when you're watching the show and you're as a coach, you're scratching your head like, man, that kid's there for another year. That kid's there for another 2 years. And like I said, it ain't going to fall off because, last week Rodney kind of goes down a little bit and you guys stepped up. And that just tells you right there, and it's something Coach Jones preaches day in and day out. You got to have other guys ready to go. I mean, everybody talks about how good Rodney is, but look what you guys have done, and offensive line open up holes and pass blocking, man. I mean, if you look at Rivers' numbers, man, he has to be close to 80% percentage of throwing the football.
He's
man.
80%.
That is crazy. The numbers he's putting up.
Absolutely.
And you look at Coach Jones. Everybody talks about they're gonna have an offensive line to protect him. I think the offensive line is done way better than everybody is.
Remember I said that in the spring? I was telling everybody, we're going to be young. We're going to be fighting. But I knew what we had in the works. I knew what those guys did in the offseason. And they hear that noise too. We don't listen to outsiders, but we have a standard here. And the standard is one unit cannot be better than the other.
That's it.
And nothing happens without the offense and defensive line. And I think they're finally starting to grasp that in their plan. And to have Rodney go down, how many teams in the state, and this is a compliment of the parents and the community and the program we have, not too many teams can have one of their best players, the caliber of Rodney, go down and then still be able to get a 28-0 lead.
Yes.
So that kind of shows what we have.
Early.
Yeah, he went down in the third play of the game.
Yeah,
and
so
just took the air out of us, but we were mature enough to come back in that type of atmosphere and still get the lead. That's big time.
Thornton, you like I said, you're on the offensive line. Do you play any defense or just strictly offense?
Strictly offense.
Why no defense, man?
He played DN. We're going to get him back there next year.
Do you like defense?
Yeah.
What would you rather play, defense or offense? This is your time to tell it.
Man, I'd rather play DN, to be honest with you, hitting.
And that's good, though. When that's going into the playoffs, you got 5 guys, you got 5 games left into district, then you go off in the playoffs, and everybody's got to step up in playoffs, man, because people get nicks and bruises, so everybody's got to step up their game. But, that's something that's good for coaches to know. But like I said, I was talking to a dad that played Division I football last night, and he had told his son, he said, you know what, his son wanted to play fullback. He said, when you get the chance to play fullback, don't let nobody tackle you. Guess what? His son got to play fullback last night. I mean, he didn't come out good against Dell City because they was on top of him. But if coach gives you that chance to get in that defensive end, you go show out. Guess what? Now you're gonna get snaps with the guy that's playing DN. So go out there and do what he asks you to do. But like I said, this year you might be playing O-line, but next year you might be playing D-line. But get your name out there. I tell you guys all the time, and I preach this day in and out to kids, man. Get your stuff out on Twitter. Yeah. Anything that you do, get it out on Twitter because let those coaches know. That's it. And also tweet the schools that you are interested in because, man, I talked to Gundy today. He came out and watched. Gundy don't have time to watch everybody's film. But you know what? If you do something special and you send him your film, I'm surprised he hasn't offered you yet. Being a linebacker and got a couple linebackers in here with Donnie. Then you got Jeff from Choctaw. Hera has done his thing, and Coach has a real good relationship with Coach Gundy and Coach Richmond. So I think you guys make sure you're getting your stuff out on film, man. I mean, just don't think it's, that Coach Jones and Coach Kelly and any other coaches, because they still have a full-time job they got to do too. Yeah, so absolutely. You guys got to put the work in. So Coach Jones, man, tell me a little bit about these guys, because like I said, I know you're tough on them, but at the end of the day, I know you love them like they're your sons.
Absolutely. Starting with Shane, Shane came in, in offseason, and we knew he needed to gain weight. He played good. Yeah, he looks good. He put on about 20, 30 pounds since June. He came in as a defensive end and offensive tackle, and that's still the availability there to play defensive end. Yes, sir. But he came in, and he was having some struggles at the beginning of the year. And, I was honest with him. I said, man, you're not tough enough right now. You're playing soft. I said, you can't just expect for people to play you. We don't owe to play you. We owe to put the best person out there. We're going to coach you every day. And he took that challenge, and I talked to him right before the East Central game. You can ask him. Him and both offensive line coaches were one of our seniors, and I said, hey, I'm going to watch all your practices this week. I'm going to watch how you act in the classroom with your attendance and your behavior, and then we're going to pick, right before the kickoff, we're going to pick the best person. And he won it. He won that competition, and he's been starting ever since. He's putting in the work. He's getting more physical. He had a great game last week against a D1 caliber player when he went against number one, and he showed up, and that was a big game for him. And I love that he's excellent in the classroom, too. I never have to hear about having an attitude in class. I never have to hear about behavior. He always makes good grades. He has a good size, a good frame on him. I think the future's bright for him. And he has a sister who's an outstanding athlete in basketball and volleyball as well. So when you get those type of athletes coming through Dale City, it kind of reminds you of those 80s and 90s when they had those families and those brothers and sisters and cousins. So I'm excited to see him continue to grow. And then Ricklan, go ahead.
Does he play basketball also, Coach?
No, he don't play. Okay. He's straight. What? Do you do track? Oh, he was soccer. He was a goalie.
Yeah.
In soccer, so you kind of see.
Hey, that means you got good feet.
Yeah, that shows you his athletic ability to be able to be a goalie. So I'm excited to see Shane grow. We have another year with him. He got 5 more games, hopefully 9 more games this year to continue to grow and be ready when we get in the playoffs and hopefully towards the end of the season, this district run.
Well, Coach, one thing I want to say before you pass the mic, you talked about Ricklan, is that one thing I learned about this team, though, man, and through your past 3 years that we've done this show, I feel like these guys are really humble, and they don't really talk. They don't talk smack. Not saying a lot of other guys did, but these guys are like, they're on a mission, you know, and that's what I was telling, yesterday on the show. I was like, Coach Jones got these guys, I mean, they know where the prize is, The prize is at the end of that tunnel. You take care of business, we're going to get there. And you got some, bumps and bruises you're going to have to get there, going through some good teams. But I really think you got this team focused, man. Just listen to these guys, and when they come in the locker room and sitting here talking to us, it ain't no cockiness. It ain't like, oh, I'm gonna knock this team out with better. These guys are all about business, man, and that's a lot that has to do with your third year being a head coach. Yeah. You got your finger on them. Yeah. I've watched you talk to these young men and tell them, hey, man, that academic. I mean, you preach academic a lot. Hey, man, you get these grades. First thing before we started this show, how's y'all's grades? You got stuff taken care of. Guys last week had to take a test. Make sure we get that test taken care of. So that's a lot that has to do with you and your coaching staff. I appreciate that. Guys, though.
Yeah, and it starts with the coaching staff, and it starts with their families, and it starts with the ex-players as well. Like I was talking to Tango last night, and those guys stay in relationship with these guys, and they tell them about some of the regrets that they had. And as a young man, that's the biggest way to learn is listening to older people, your elders. Listen to the mistakes they made so you don't make them. I told him after practice, I cheated all the way from 6 to 12. Yep. Yeah, I'll be honest, I cheated all the time. Yeah. Then when I got to college, all that cheating caught up to me. And with the technology they have now, you can copy and paste and you can do all this stuff. You can cheat now, but eventually your education is going to catch up to you.
That's it.
So take it serious, and these two young men do. Ricklan's in all AP classes. His mom's a teacher at Douglas. She does a great job with him. I played with his father as well.
At Oklahoma State?
Yeah, Oklahoma State. And he was the head coach of John Tyler. He coaches in Texas as well. Ricklan's just a great kid. And like you said, his size, sometimes we're blessed with things, and he's blessed with size and speed. He's very humble. And I think that's going to go a long way, especially in this new day and age with the NILs and all the notoriety that these high school kids are getting. They have to stay humble because if you get caught up in that web, it's unbelievable. And we've seen kids get caught up in that web where they think they're better than their teammates and how it affects their program. So kids like Ricklan make our program what it is. They're humble. They don't care if they get the ball. Some kids will leave. Because, Coach, he can go play running back for anybody in this state, in the state of Texas as well. Yeah. He would be a starting running back. So for him to focus at linebacker, focus at some fullback a little bit, H-back, and not get upset and not get mad because he's getting carries, and then being prepared when his name is called. That shows you what he is. Then he had 11 tackles in the first half. You know, he fought through a shoulder injury in the second half. Played great, got us the victory, which is important. And then he punts and kicks. That's important. His punts are huge. On average, he's been averaging a little bit over 40 yards. That helps us with field position and the defense that we have. So he's a jack of all trades, and I'm just excited to see him continue to grow. I'm excited to see what he could do on the field, but I'm more excited that he continues to set the standard what we want academically in this program. He sets that standard, so does Shane.
Yeah, that's big time, Coach. You know, you talk about, you know, Ricklan. I know we kind of mentioned him last week. You know, he's a young man that you can play. You know, he talked about, I played nose guard, I played defensive end. He's like
Michael Parsons.
Michael
Parsons.
That's it. Michael Parsons, who we compared you to. Hope you're a Cowboys fan. Me and Coach go at it every Sunday, man.
And Dak we trust. And Dak we trust.
He's all about Dax, man. And actually, Cowboy fans, if anybody is watching the show, you're a Cowboy fan, you know the defense won the game. You know, I mean, Dax, we trust. Exactly. What did he do against the Cardinals?
Should have got Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. But, you know, Holmes, let's bring the mic back to you, though, because I just think that, you know, you're a unique player. You know, you're at Dell City High School. You can go. You're a type of player that Bigsby and some of these big-time jinx will be trying to get you to come to their school because, like I said, your size is unbelievable, man. I mean, you know, I'm a grown man, 51 years old, and I never looked like you. But I did play high school ball and college ball, man. If I did, I probably wouldn't win NIA. I probably went Division I or Division II. But, man, it's good to see the way you are, the leader you are on the football field. And then he talks about, you know, you have 11 tackles, but also last week you get 5 carries, you know, 47 yards in the TD. You know, I mean, I guess did you have a TD?
I don't think he got down there. I was kind of mad.
No, 5. You know, 5 carries
down to the 5.
Yeah.
We gave it a shake, and I was like, man, let him get.
Yeah, let him get the touchdown, man. Don't be like Varsity Blues.
Yeah, come on, man.
But you know what I'm saying. But it's good to see what you're doing as a sophomore, though, man, because you know most sophomores are not ready at this age, man. And a lot of times, if a coach is playing a sophomore and a freshman, he's losing a lot of ball games, you know. And right now, you guys are sitting at 5-0 with a bunch of sophomores and juniors, you know, playing. And, you know, and I know you got some key spots where you got guys that are seniors like the quarterback, Damien and Watney. But I just think, you know, even if you didn't have those guys, you know, not taking that from those guys, but Dell City be still sitting at 5-0, you know. So a lot of that comes to you. So what does it feel like you wearing the Dell City Eagle jersey?
It means a lot to me. I love playing with my brothers. With the team that we have here, it's like family. It's not business like it would be in college.
Yes,
like
sir.
we're all one family. We're on a mission, and we all want to get to the same goal.
That's it. So what schools do you have looking at you right now? I know Arkansas State is off you, but who else is contacting you or knocking at the door, sending you letters and stuff like that? I don't even know if they still send letters. Do they, Coach?
Yeah, they do, but not too much.
You know, back in the day, we would get letters and
you
a
come
coach
to
would
a
hide the
lot.
letter to the end of the season,
Yeah.
and then wait till how good you played, they might give it to you. Then that coach, they went on and got somebody else because you didn't know nothing about the letter. Coaches do that, not Coach Jones, but coaches do that. So who do you got looking at you?
The only one that I know of is OSU
They gonna
and
come
OBU
with
and
you. Nah, you better know you. Excuse me.
it's
OBU,
another
like
school.
you. I'm just saying, this kid is D1 frame, D1 ready.
I accept it all.
It's about to heat up. They usually start coming.
But you know, and once being a sophomore though, they want to see how you develop. Thornton, are you planning on playing college football, or
Yeah.
you got somebody teams looking at you?
Not that I know of.
But you know one thing about it though, man. You guys are sitting next to a coach that he'll do everything in their power. I had to give it to him because I know when my boys were in high school, they would come over here and talk to Coach Don and Coach Jones, and they would say, "Hey, man, there's 2 kids over at Choctaw that you need to take a look at." So he's going to do everything he can to get you guys recruited. And one thing about getting young men recruited is that when you go to college, man, there's one thing you don't want to do is he get y'all recruited and you go to college and you become a knucklehead. They're not going to come back and get you because I got this kid, but he's a knucklehead. He's not going to class. He's not hitting the grades. He's not practicing hard. Why would I come get another kid from you? So at the end of the day, everybody's getting interviewed, and at the end of the day, they trust what Coach Jones is saying to get you guys in their college. But, I mean, both of you guys got great size, and both of you guys are, in the class. But like I said, a lot of it is get that stuff on Twitter, get it out, because he only can do so much, but you gotta sell yourself. I do it a lot with my youngest daughter. She's 12 years old, but, I know people are like, man, he's always posting her. But I'm posting her because I want somebody to catch her eye. And she's all about that. I want to go to UCO. I said, if you had a choice between OU, OSU, in UCO. She goes, I want to go to UCO. One, her brother wrestles there, and she likes the atmosphere there. Man. So, you know, and that's a good thing about it. No matter where you guys go to school, Division I, Division II, NIA, the most important thing is get that education paid for.
I seen that with the kid from Sulphur.
Yeah.
He had a Colorado, Michigan State, Miami. I think he might have had OU too. He committed to New Hampshire. He did that. The kid from Sulphur, Patterson, he was the number 3 player in the state. He committed to New Hampshire, and that shocked me. But who knows? He said the coaches talked to him every day. He had a great relationship with them.
That's it.
Guys, you can go to the NFL anywhere, but it's when you get to that campus, you want to be comfortable in your skin. You want to know that you knew the coaches, and sometimes you go to those high-profile schools because of the name. It can get you. You got to go because of the school and the coaches, and your parents are comfortable with it, and it's not always a high-profile school.
You know, Coach, you know, you had mentioned something a couple weeks ago, and I think every young man should know this, is that, you know, go take all your visits.
Yeah.
I know you ended up at Oklahoma State, and it worked out great for you.
Yeah.
But take every one of your visits because one of the biggest thing, and it's funny you said it, I had another young man said, I said, why'd you pick that school? He said, because they kept recruiting me. They kept talking to me. Because a lot of times they recruit you, then you don't hear nothing else from them. And you want to have that confidence that, hey, that coach loves me. He don't just love my game. He loves me as a player, but he also going to be a father figure because you got to think, when you go off to college, you become theirs. It's like the military.
Oh, man.
You don't get to come home very often.
Yeah.
It's a full-time job. You're working 16 hours a day, and you're not getting paid. You are getting paid, but you're not getting paid because they're paying for your school. Some of these guys might get a NIL deal, and right now, college football has done that for you guys, and it's good because Coach Jones didn't get that. Neither did I.
No.
That when you're playing college ball, man, you're getting paid to wear somebody's shoes or somebody's underwear. Look at Booty for OU, the backup quarterback, the third-string quarterback. He's getting paid more than Gabriel, and Gabriel's a starting quarterback because his name is Booty, and he got underwear that he wears going across the horse.
Crazy.
So, guys, take all that stuff in advantage, but make sure you go to a school that fits you, that you love, because one thing you don't want to do is get in the transfer portal, then guess what? Nobody come get you, now you ain't playing ball. You see a lot of kids do that.
Oh, yeah. I think they said like 80% don't end up go anywhere.
Yeah, or they don't get your degree. And the biggest thing that me and you also talked about is take those classes because those coaches want you to be eligible, so they have you take 9 hours during the regular season and 6 hours during the summertime to keep you eligible. That's not gonna get you. That's not gonna get you to graduate. Yeah. So half of these guys that think they're gonna make it to the NFL and they don't go to the NFL because they don't make it. They get cut. Now they don't have a degree, so they have nothing to fall on. So make sure you get that education.
Yes, sir.
Get it all paid for. If you can take 14 hours and you can handle it, do it, man.
Yes,
because
sir.
at the end of the day, you only get 4 to 5 years. I mean, there ain't no more COVID years. So,
Absolutely.
guys, man, I mean, I really appreciate you both coming on here, being part of, Keep 100 Coach Jones show. It just shows you what Dell City has week in and week out. We're bringing on different young men that, one, they're outstanding ball players, and they're taking care of business on the class and on the field, though. So, before we let you guys go, though, man, I always ask, man, what's your favorite food? I know you can eat, big man, because, hey, us big guys got to stick together.
Mine got to be like chicken pasta my mom makes.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
What about you, Holmes?
My favorite food would be my grandma's home-cooked lasagna.
What's all in that lasagna?
I can't.
You can't tell grandma. I was trying to get it.
Nobody's saying fried chicken. We killing stereotypes right here.
No, that's it, man. We can afford to. Hey, we can afford chicken past fried chicken now. I ain't gonna lie. I got Dion had that commercial about KFC, and I don't even care for KFC. Rivers like KFC though, but I would've got them hot wings at that commercial. I gotta say, man, they're pretty good though. They really were though. But guys, man, you're going into a big game this Friday night against Sapopa. You guys went and took care of business. Last year, as a true freshman, you came in, you played McAlester and Coweta at home, lost some tough games in overtime. I know it has to feel good to beat McAlester, a team that's played for the state championship a couple times. That's kind of knocked you guys off. You win that game, you guys are probably the 1 seed. You don't have to face Carl Albert to the championship. But you guys took care of business this year. What does it mean like, coming back this year and knocking them off?
It feels great knowing that I messed up that game last year.
How'd you mess up?
I gave up a wheel route, Coach.
I remember that. He was screaming it. I'm sitting on there, and it
Guess
came.
what he gave up
guess,
this year? The wheel route again.
and guess who was thrown to?
Yeah.
Eric, right?
Yep.
I remember that on that sideline going. Yeah. I remember that like it was yesterday.
Yes,
but you know what, man? Is a man enough for you to say I messed up, and you fixed it, and you're gonna make mistakes in games, man. The game is fast. The game is totally different when we and Coach Jones played, especially now. I mean, I played back in '91. And, it's 2023. The game is tough, man. I mean, you got great quarterbacks. I mean, imagine going against the Rivers, Thank God he's on y'all's team. Not taking nothing from nobody else, but, I mean, this kid is every week he's dialed in, and a lot of that has to do with that offensive line. If he don't have the time to throw the ball, he's not going to be putting up 13 for 17, 18 for 21, 19 for 22. Those are Peyton Manning's numbers. Those are Tom Brady numbers. You know what I'm saying? He's going to get a shot, Coach. He really will. But, like I said, you guys still got a couple more years, man. I really think you guys got a good chance to play for the gold ball. Carl Albert knows that. Elgin knows that. Guthrie knows that. You guys are the team, even though you're number 2 in the state, but you guys are the team that everybody talks about week in and week out. Everybody knows what Carl Albert got. Not taking that from Coach Dunn. Love him. Coach Jones and Coach Dunn are like best friends, live together, coach together for many years. But at the end of the day, it's all about business, though. But, guys, I appreciate y'all coming on, though, man. Keep it 100 Coach Jones show. Go take care of business this week against Sapopa. And hey, you got 4 more games after that. And guess what? You're going into playoffs. And in playoffs, you're one and done. So I appreciate you guys coming on, though, man.
Appreciate you having me.
No problem, man. I mean, just make sure everybody knows Keep It 100 Coach Jones show. All right? Thank you, guys.
With 25 years experience in the industry, Linex Customs OKC is your one-stop shop for all your vehicle accessory needs. Specializing in spray-in liners, lifts, levels, wheels, tires, bed covers, and anything else you need to make your ride look and sound better. Call Eric and the boys at 405-778-8878.
Welcome back to Keep It 100 Coach Jones show. Coach, man, you had 2 great young men, and,
Yes, sir.
Each week you're bringing on a lineman, and that's pretty cool that you bring on linemen. And one thing about these linemen, people think, oh, man, linemen are, not very educated and smart, but the linemen you're bringing on each week, man, are really, really good talkers.
Yeah.
And then you bring on Ricklan Holmes, man, I mean, a sensational sophomore, that a kid that by the time he leaves Dale City, and everybody talks about him. Not to say, hey, none of the other kids, but he's a young man that, you look at the young man. I mean, I'm just telling you, coaches used to always tell the young man, hey, when a college coach come in, wear taller shoes, make yourself look bigger.
You got to just show up.
He's got to show up. That's it.
Yeah,
take the shirt off, and you're like,
absolutely.
man, I'm telling you, Coach, he's a grown man.
Yeah.
And we've been saying that, though. Congratulations on the big win last week, against McAlester, the team that beat you last year in overtime. Like you said, you kind of have a scare at the beginning of the game. First quarter, Rodney, goes down, one of the best backs in state.
Yeah.
I know you're like, oh man, one thing you don't want nobody to do is get hurt.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you had some guys step up and take care of business. You started off the first half up 28-0. Coach Mays, great coach over McAlester.
Absolutely.
It's homecoming. They're not gonna give up a fight without trying to put some points up. They came back second half. And put up 21 points, and the final score was 35-21. But at the end of the day, your starting running back goes down, but you got to get up to Rivers. I mean, he stepped up and did big things. Another big night. 13 for 17, 212 yards, 3 TDs, no interceptions, right?
Yes, sir.
I mean, to go on the road in that stadium, that crowd, a 2-hour drive, and him still put up those type of numbers, man, is amazing. The things that he's doing for this team, and even your running backs, you got Shane and Green, stepped up, and Ricklan Holmes both stepped up and took the bulk of the carries. Shane and Green just a junior, playing some slot receiver for you, but he comes up and hey, you know what? Hey, you got to go play tailback now. And we had talked about that a couple weeks ago, him being on the show. It's like, hey, you get your opportunity to run the ball, show out. And guess what? He showed out. But that also helps you going into the playoffs, into these other games. Hey, if I need to sit Rodney down and let him rest up a little bit more, I can depend on these other guys to run the ball. He ended up with 12 carries, 64 yards, 1 TD. Ricklan Holmes, 5 carries, 47 yards. But, like I said, it's a big win for the program, big win for you. Beat McAlester, a team that beat you last year, at your home. Now you get to go play the same favor back to them on their home field, their nice field, stadium, screen, and all that. But also on their homecoming, though. So, how do you feel that I know you was kind of upset, how the game ended, but a win's a win. No matter if you win by 1 point, 2 points, guess what? In the column sheet it says W.
Absolutely. The more I thought about it, I calmed down, just because when you have an injury to a player like that, it takes the breath out of you. Because your whole season flashes before your eyes, because you don't know, what your team, how they're going to respond, are they going to hold on to that? And at the time, it was 0-0. So now that I'm looking back on it, it was a great growing stage for our players and our coaches because we had to figure out, hey, what can we do? Because Rodney's really been carrying us along with River and LaDainian. And now that you have, out of that three-headed monster, you have one of them gone. Now you get to see other players step up. You get to see Braylon Adama step up a little bit more receiver and being at the Wildcat. You get to see LaDainian make some big plays. You get to see River help the troops stay calm in his demeanor and how he's poised and how he's a leader. So you get to see people step up in adversity. And then you get to see Coach McGuire. You know, Coach McGuire is continuing to call great games. To be able to be up 28-0 against the caliber of McAlester in his first year, and that atmosphere is showing that he's growing at a rapid rate. And then Coach Kelly, same thing, 28-0 at halftime. Now we had some mix-ups in the second half, but that 28-0 lead was able to carry us on and not make it a close game at the end of the game. So we saw a lot of people, different people, grow in that game. I think it's going to continue to help us. And another factor was we ain't played 4 quarters.
Yes, sir.
We've been, Choctaw game ended in the third quarter. It was suspended. It was City. Booker T. We was up by that time. We had our twos in by. So our kids had to learn that you can only get certain conditioning that's going to happen in a game.
Yes, sir.
And I feel like we wore down in the fourth quarter because we just ain't played 4 quarters. So I think with that experience, it's going to help us moving forward that, hey, it's a 4-quarter battle, not a 3-quarter battle.
Well, Coach, the good thing about that, though, you got to see some things that, hey, you know what, everything might look good on paper, look good, that they were beating people 48-0, 50-0, but now you look at it like, hey, you know what, there's some things that we got to work on, Coach. We got to humble ourselves.
You always say that.
And get back to the drawing board because, it ain't going to be easy because, you got some good games coming up. You look at what you got left on the schedule. You got Sapopa, not a bad team. They're sitting at 3-2.
Not bad at all, man. They got some good players, man.
They're 1-1. They improved. They've done some big things in district. They beat Durant 50-0 and lose to Coweta, which is a team that everybody thought was going to win state, was knocking everybody off.
They still got some players too.
They still got some players, and that score is 24-19. And I had a chance to watch that game, and Sapopa made some mistakes early in the game, and then Coweta benefit off of it. But I just tell you right now, this is a big game for Sapopa. You guys coming in being the number 2 team in the state. They can get this big win against you guys. It helps them be in the driver's seat, 1 for district and 2 for a playoff position. So
absolutely.
I just think this game is going to be more tougher than what people think it's going to be. I know that you look at Squirtle, they got you guys winning the game, but at the end of the day, you talked about 4 quarters. I think this is going to be another game that, hey, you might have to play 4 quarters, but it's also a game that, hey, you know what, guys got to say, you know what, we didn't play our best last week. Let's let people know who Dell City's all about. Let's get back to doing what we do best, and that's, score and shut people out.
Absolutely. And Sapopa is a team that is still playing with 6A talent to me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I mean, they played 6A for years. We all knew Sapopa playing 6A, and they dropped down to 5A. They have a good-sized offensive line, good defensive line. They have linebackers that have that 6A size, and they got some skilled players they could start and play in any school in the state, and they have a quarterback that's a good player too. So they're a well-coached team. They're coming off a very emotional loss. They're going to be amped up. It's going to be at their place. They understand where they are in district as well, so they're going to bring everything they got, and we're looking forward to it.
Let's get back to some of the stats, though. You had, we talked about Shane Green and Ricklan Holmes, but Jay Miles had two carries, 11 yards in the TD. Now, who's this young man?
He's a junior running back. He's going to.
You heard it again. He's a what?
He's a junior running back. He may get some play this week. He is right on the heels of Shaden and Ricklan. He's a great player. I know I say this a lot, but I really think if he was at some other schools, he could be started playing. He's a great player. He's a wrestler, and he was ranked number 3 all year in the long jump. So he's an athlete. And I didn't mention that earlier. Ricklan is a 3-sport star in wrestling and track, and then Shane does soccer. So I love that all our kids don't just focus on one sport, and they all help out each program. But, Miles is a kid that's going to really start helping us through the latter part of the year, because as you start having those carries and people playing both ways, people get beat up. So you got to have a kid that can come in and get you 2 to 3 carries in the middle of the fourth quarter. So I'm looking forward to him getting more carries as well.
That's big time, though.
Yes, sir.
You look at the receiving. I think Mr.
Fields
led the way, man. I mean, he had 6 catches. This is big time. And I'm going to say it again, man. And I said it by 1,000, and it's going to be 1,001. TCU is looking at this young man to play defensive back. Everything I've seen this young man is be an outstanding receiver. And I don't know why people's not coming after him as a dude. He is smooth. He gets open. He knows how.
Yeah.
And a lot of that comes from being a DB. He knows how to get off that DB and get himself in the right position because he's a DB himself. But, man, I'm telling you right now, if I'm a college coach, I'm offering this kid as a receiver because I think he has big-time skills. He can do some big-time things at the next level.
He's not scared to catch it in traffic either.
No,
That's what I love about him, man.
Six catches, 139?
Yeah.
That's Michael Irvin numbers.
Oh, yeah, Coach.
You know what I'm saying? 2 TDs, and then you got K. Palmer, this young man. This is the kid from
Louisiana, the sophomore, yeah.
And what grade is he in again?
Sophomore. Yeah.
2 catches, 50 yards in the TD.
Yeah.
Shady Green, has 2 catches. This guy's playing running back. Now he's going to go out to slot and catch a couple balls.
Yeah.
But then you get on the defensive side of the ball, then you talk about what they did on defense.
Yeah.
Ricklan Holmes, he gets his shoulder banged up a little bit. It has 8 tackles on here on the stat sheet, but, several tackles, and he has 6 assists. And Braden Adama, a young man that does a wildcat for you, also plays with safety for you.
Yep.
Another big night on defense, have 7 tackles, 7 assists.
Yeah.
Then you got Aaron Carter, the outstanding starting linebacker that, he's not getting beat up and getting bruised up, but he has 4 tackles and 3 assists. Then Q Goodman,
Quaylen, he was. We had him on the show before. He was our starting center. He's playing nose tackle too. And he's a junior, and he's getting better and better.
Yeah.
He's the guy that Oklahoma State was interested in and looking at. He's some trouble in the middle, and that's what I love about it. All these guys have played both ways, so we can spill each other, and I think it teaches him the game.
Yeah, it teaches him the game.
It really does.
And they're seeing what's going on. Then you talk about, not what LaDainian did on offense, but now he comes back on defense as a corner, and he pretty much shuts down his side.
He only had 2 catches all year.
Yeah, then he has, then he has three tackles and 2 assists, man. I mean, you just can't. It's just, man, you look at these guys that you have on here, man, and a lot of these guys are underclassmen and they're performing like they're seniors. So that has to make you feel good as a coach, but also has to make you feel good as like, what you and the coaching staff has done to get these young men better week in and week out because you you've been through the last few years, your first 2 years here, you've been close to, you won district, had a good chance to win district last year. You lose to Coweta and McAlester in overtime, but this year you can tell it's all business. We're not trying to make the games close. The closest game you had was last week, but you're up 28-0.
Yeah.
And I told my wife, as we're sitting there looking at the score of the game, I said, man, Jones going to probably put 50 on this team on their homecoming, and that's going to be embarrassing them. But, they came back.
I think that's why they fought back.
They
had some pride. That's a prideful team,
that's good.
man. That's a prideful team.
But that's what you should have, though. But, you get that big-time win, man, moves you to 5-0, 2-0 in district, knocking off the runner-up state champions from last year, a team that's good and always going to be good, and beating them on their homecoming, man. I mean, I know that has to make you feel good, and you also get the revenge from last year's overtime loss. So, big things to you, what you're doing with the program. But, we're going into this week trying to go 3-0 in district.
Yes, sir.
I know it's one game at a time, but, looking at Zapopa, I know you got a chance to watch film on them, and you guys are preparing for them. What do you see that jumps out to you?
Starting off offensively, this would be the most explosive offense we've faced all year. And the reason why I say that, they might not have the spread out scheme that Choctaw has, but they're able to run the ball, and they have a nice running back. They have a quarterback that can sling it around.
Yes, sir.
They have 2 good receivers. They're real multiple, so they're going to throw it a lot, and they're going to be able to run the ball at times too. And then defensively, they got cornerbacks who could play. They got a good defensive line. They got linebackers that really roam around. They remind me a lot of a Guthrie, just their style of play, but they do a little bit more in the pass game offensively. And this is a team that made the playoffs last year.
Yes, sir.
This is a team that's fighting for the playoffs, and they're going to come out and give us their best shot. Anybody wants to play a top team, and everybody wants to knock them off. That's just the way it is. So we're going into another electric atmosphere. It's another great learning experience for our kids, and it's another chance to get to our goal of being district champions because that's where it starts.
And Coach, I mean, that's I mean, like, see, you talk about this team, what they got and what they done. I know they lost a close one last week to Coweta, a team that was outstanding last year, and they lost some players, but they still got enough guys. And I told you at the beginning of the year, watching Coweta play Carl Albert, Coweta's going to be one of those teams at the end of the year that you don't want to play because they're going to get better each week. They're putting in new pieces like a puzzle, and out there everything is starting to click. So, what do you think that you have to do this week to get better and show everybody, hey, we are the team to beat?
I think it starts with the running game. Go out and establish a running game, get people to kind of load the box, and then River could take advantage of Anybody that loads the box against River, he's going to take advantage of it. And then keep him smooth. I want him to keep doing what he's doing. He's spreading the ball around. You can't focus on one guy. You focus on LaDainian, he's going to hit Braylon. You focus on Braylon, he's going to hit Kadarius Palmer. So he has a lot of different weapons, and he knows how to utilize them. He does a good job of understanding. He has a good understanding, and this is what you get with a 3-year starter, that you can't make one guy the sole offense in the passing game. You have to spread it around. And they continue to lean on that offensive line. You're giving them the credit that they deserve. Those guys have been getting better each week. I can honestly say this is the best that our offensive line has played since I've been here. They're playing physical, and it almost brought a tear in my eye to watch them out there banging against McAlester, a tough physical team, and we're running the ball on them. We're just running the ball. You can see these big holes, and I'm like, goodness, this is where we have came, and this is where we're at with our offensive line. And we all know when it gets cold, that's what's going to happen. And then defensively, we got to tackle well. Then we got to play 4 quarters. I think that we kind of got lackadaisical a little bit, and then we got to get used to that physical ball game that comes with 5A.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes when you play against the Choctaws and the Booker T, they like to spread it out more in those 6-0 teams. Those 5A teams are going to run the ball. They're going to get in formations, and they got some run right at you. So defensively, we need to get used to that physical ball game, go create some turnovers, and just go play ball like we've been all year. And we got to start fast, and we need to go into the halftime with a good lead, and we need to be able to use that lead and go into the third quarter and make it 0-0. Winning or losing, we got to get back to the method of it's 0-0 at halftime.
Yes, sir.
I think we had too much celebrating. Not like we were celebrating the win, but I think it was a comfort level that doesn't need to be. And it was everybody. It was myself included. We were up 28-0, and we kind of felt comfortable. And our electricity kept going out in the locker room, so we was having to sit outside. And I hope this week we need to be more focused in the locker room at halftime, coaches and kids.
That's big time, though.
Yes, sir.
Like I said, you talk about the games you have left, man. You got Memorial at home. Is that homecoming?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's
yes,
big
sir.
time. Everybody need to come out and support the the seniors that's paved the way for everybody else that's here. Then you got Glenpool, a team that's not great in 5A, but they've had some players in the past. Then you got Coweta, away, a team that's can't welcome for you guys to get wait for you guys to get there. That game probably come down.
That could be the district championship. We'll find out this week. They play McAlester this week, so if they beat McAlester, that could be the district championship.
And then you're in the year senior night with Durant, so a team that that just got beat 50-0 by Zapopa, a few weeks back. So, but coach, like I said, you look at what's your high school, your junior high, and then you look at your JV team. Tell the listeners, what's that's all about, because I know you got a big win. You kind of talked about it earlier, but I got a chance to see that 8th grade team that some of those guys come up right now and play on the varsity team. So what's that like, watching them young men and your nephews on that team?
Absolutely.
On the offensive line, they can help you next year as a freshman.
Absolutely. I think it comes down to, sometimes people could put stereotypes over a community, over a group of kids. What I've done and what the coaching staff done, even the faculty, is we brought into CDEP. And at first people were like, what's CDEP? What's CDEP? But these kids really listen to that. They try to live by it. And I love to see the development from them from 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th. You could just continue to see the maturity. And they're buying into one mission together, and we're seeing what's happening. Kids are changing it's changing the school building. It's changing the community. And it's just bringing a lot of electricity to what we got going over here at Dell City. And I've always said this to the players: you can change the school. You can make this a place where people are not scared to bring their kids to live and go to school, because it's a great area. I keep preaching to people like it's every neighborhood have a couple bad streets. That's everywhere. But I think Dell City gets a bad rep. Dell City is a great place to live. I grew up over here, and I think people are starting to notice that because we have humble kids and what this show has brought to it. So I'm excited to see the middle school program and the high school program grow, and that's in all sports. It's in basketball, track, softball. All our sports are improving. It's because we're really bonding to the academic part and character part.
You talk about you've been the athletic director here, and then the boxing game being the athletic director down at middle school. But if you look at your middle school numbers on the 8th grade team, and they had really good numbers. And a lot of times kids start falling off 7th grade, 8th grade. But you can take those numbers that they have, I don't know, it's 30, 40 kids, and bring them to the high school next year, and still sprinkle in some other kids that's gonna move in and all that. It just tells you that Dell City's not going nowhere. At the end of the day, you're going to have Dell City and Carlisle is always going to be 1 and 2 in 5A. And and I told Andy this a couple weeks ago, the best thing could ever happen to all three schools is one go 4A, which it's not going to ever happen. One can go big, small 6A, and one stay 5A. I think if you did that, I think he's bringing home 3 state championships year in, year out. And people could talk about, River moving in and Ladainian moving in, but, it's happening everywhere, When I was talking to Keywan a few weeks back, he had told me that 11 kids left Jinx and went over to Union, and Jinx ended up beating them, but that has to be a sweet taste in your mouth when 11 kids that left you in the summertime, Coach. Not last year. They left you in the summertime. As you're getting ready to prepare for the season, you have 11 young men leave you and go play for Union, and you beat them. But,
that's unheard of in a school like that.
It's crazy, but, I guess in Tulsa you can move and do what you want to do, but it doesn't matter who moves in and none of that. You still got to be coaching. You still got to be being able to learn the system and all that. And one thing I think that River's done, if you watch River from game 1 to game 2 to game 3, 4, and 5, he's done nothing but shine. I think if you reclassify and replay that Choctaw game again, he's going to put up big numbers because,
I believe so.
He's used to it now. He's got the, I watched him on film last week, just giving kids high five, telling a good job.
Leader,
and he stepped up. Hey, one of our other leaders is down tonight, so somebody else got to step up. And I think he took that thread and said, hey, you know what? I'm going to be the man that's going to lead us. Like I said, the numbers you're putting up, 212 yards, at a big place like McAlester, that always well coached up. Coach Mace has done a great job there. I don't know if they did the ring. Did they do the ring?
Oh, you bet. You had the big speakers and the music playing. They did the bull in the ring and all that.
I don't know what coach does there to get your players hurt before the game, but it's something they live off, so you can't knock them, though. But, Coach, before we end this show, though, you got a big thing coming up this Tuesday that's going to help all schools. They had a little get-together, the deal. I know you didn't get a chance to make it. You wouldn't watch your middle school team play, but, what was it, the 80th anniversary?
80th anniversary for Middale. Middale's been 80 years, and they had the festival that, Andy puts on for all athletics, and he does a great job with that. That's a great deal. Like you said, it's Dale City, Millwood City, Carlisle, we're all over there. We were one family, one district, and that showed that. And we got the bond coming up. We've been talking about this for a long time. This bond is so special.
It is.
It touches.
He said over 45 million or something.
Yeah, it touches so many families, and it's going to touch families for years to come. I think right now with the facilities we have and the stadiums we have, we're one of the better ones in 5A and even 6A. So I think it's going to help our facilities. It's going to help our academics. It's going to make us better communities. I can't stress enough to the people of Middale, get out there and vote. Really find out what this bond is about. If you don't know already, it's great. It's no way I could tell you how much great things we have going in a couple minutes, but I can tell you that it's going to really change. It's going to change the landscape of what we're doing, and it's only going to heighten us in academic, fine arts, and athletics. So I pray everybody goes out there and vote. Go with your heart, but I hope your heart's going towards yes, because this is a bond that can really change generations to come.
You talk about that. Like I said, I think Dell City is right there, he's talking about finishing the things off, the new scoreboard, some of the new indoor facilities. And indoor facilities, not just for football, but it's for
all sports.
All sports. So
band.
Yes. And I want to give a shout out to all 3 bands yesterday at the deal. Dell City Band was outstanding. Millwood City in Colorado.
That's awesome.
Got a chance to talk to Lenny Hatchett. Nothing but praise about you. So you can't wait for Friday night's game to come watch you guys. And this is a guy that's won a couple state championships in basketball, at Dell City, and him and Coach Jones have a great relationship.
Absolutely.
As Robert being the athletic director and Lenny being the basketball coach. Lenny is taught and coached for many years, but to have Robert come in as a third-year head coach and has done a great job as athletic director. And you can see in the girls' basketball, I tell people all the time, I think Coach Webb really, really got a good chance to do big things here. Lenny is going to fight and scratch, and he's going to find a way. Once you find a way to get that championship, and he's all about you winning the state championship, because if there's anybody deserving, and don't get me wrong, we love my Titans and we love my Bombers, but if anybody deserving that's fighting hard to get it, I think you deserve it, because it's good to get your name on that board too, and Mike Dunn got him one. I know if you got one, I think he'll be happy for you, man, because like I said, y'all's relationship go deeper than football. It's like a brotherhood, and Granted, hey, you know, those 4 quarters we're gonna fight, scratch, but
we were talking about that the other day. Shoot, we could. You don't ever know how to shape out because the Guthrie's they're gonna play them. They could be coming over here to play us, and then we could be going over there.
Please don't let that happen.
You don't never
Coach
know,
Dunn,
man.
Coach Jones,
Oh,
don't let that happen. But Coach Hall said, hey, don't count me out.
Don't count Coach Hall out. They're winning big.
He got.
I knew that was gonna happen, man.
He got a little sophomore quarterback, man. I feel so bad because I kept getting the young man Lucky in his Lincoln, you know, and I got a chance to talk to his dad last night, and I said, I want to apologize to you because I called your son Lucky the whole time on the show in his Lincoln. But you know what? I said, you know, we're going to stick with that. That's my nickname to him because Lucky, because he's just a sophomore, a really humble young man, Got a chance to talk to him and got a chance to talk to Ms. Goggins, talk to Lenny, and got a chance to talk to Coach Price, man.
That's good.
And at the end of the day, man, it's all family because, granted, you might hate each other when you're playing each other. It's not hate, but, you know, you're not rooting for each other. But at the end of the day, it's a Mid-Dale team,
Absolutely.
a Mid-Dale family, and that's what it's all about.
Yes, sir.
You're supporting each other. Because I know you support Dunn when he won that state championship. Granted, I know you want to win just as much as he did, but, you know, at the end of the day, you made that phone call and told him congratulations. It's a brotherhood, man.
Absolutely.
You know, you guys in the same district. I know Andy's job is tough, you know, having all 3 schools, but at the end of the day, you know, he still got to be a father to his kids and take care of his kids. But same thing with, you know, your nephew and your niece, you know.
Yes, sir.
You still got to be that father figure for him. But, Coach, before we get out of here, man, anything for anybody that, you know, the principals, the administration, anything to them?
Well, big shout out to the teachers of Dale City.
Yes, sir.
You know, sometimes, you know, the success of a team always falls on the coaches and your high-profile players and your families. But without those teachers being patient in class, giving kids grace in certain areas and working with them on a daily basis, we wouldn't have a successful football team. So big shout out to the faculty and the teachers, and big shout out to our cheerleaders, our POM and Ben, all those people who go unnoticed, the OSN broadcast, Captain Kilty, all those guys that make it possible for the success of Dale City football as well. Big shout out to them. Can't say again, just go out there and vote, man. Vote yes for that bond. I think we'll be happy for years to come with our kids, grandkids, and great-grandkids.
Well, Coach, I know you was off last week, but let the listeners know, man, not only are you doing the Keep It 100 Coach Jones show, but every Saturday you do the Oklahoma State.
Yes, sir. Sports Animal.
Sports Animal,
yes,
man. And I tell you, folks, it's a pleasure to listen to this young man talk because, you know, where he was from point A to where he is now, man.
That's crazy, right?
He's up there with him, man. He can talk with the best of them, man. And
hopefully I get that Stephen A. or Shannon Sharp contract.
Hey, man, I'm looking forward to it. When you get it, please bring me along,
you
though.
know we are.
You know, that's funny because I was talking to a guy last night. He said, man, you sound like, you know, Michael Irvin. And, you know, one thing about, you know, doing this show and even doing the show yesterday, man, you know, it just
fun,
it's fun, you know. And I tell people all the time, man, I do it because I love it, not because I'm trying to make money. It's not about the money, man. It's about
okay to have fun, man.
It is, man. This is my hobby, and I love doing it, and I'm going to keep doing it to God let me keep doing it. So
Absolutely.
I love it. I think, you know, I think Jonah, and I think Ethan, and even everybody that supports Keep It 100. I know we don't have 1,000 viewers and all that, but you know what? It's going to get there one day because, you know, I just had somebody reach out to me today and want me to come do Dale's.